Welcome, everyone, to another episode with me, Zach Barnett on Sports Talk 1996, folks. Man, we're covering a good little topic today. The top 10 most important players for the 2022 NBA Finals. It's going to be a good series between the Warriors and Celtics. I look forward to probably go 6 games. It's going to be probably decided on the road if the Celtics win or the Warriors win with Steph Curry. But we're covering the top 10 players, most important players. And let's get it rolling. But before we do, if you're not a subscriber to Sports Talk 1996 on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. And leave it down in the comments section what you guys think of the 2022 NBA Finals, the matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. Shout out to all the fans out there of both teams to getting to this point. The Warriors have been through a lot in the last couple of years with injuries, but the Celtics, this is like the third time or fourth time they've got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and this is the first time they've got over the hump in probably, actually, it's 10 years now. 2000, no, longer than that. Excuse me. 12 years. 12 years. That's the last time, 2010, I believe. It's a long, long time. But the guys that number one's probably Al Horford. The size matchup for these two teams is going to be pretty pivotal to who wins. And I think the Celtics have the advantage with the size. Al Horford, Robert Williams III, Daniel Tice, who else? Grant Williams. They have the size to probably manhandle the Warriors inside. So I'm giving this slight edge looking at the rosters, how they're built inside, to the Celtics. And with Al Horford's stats in the 2022 NBA playoffs so far, 10.2 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists per game. He's shooting 30 or 47% from the floor, 34% from 3-point range. For a big man, that's pretty good. Almost shooting 50% from the floor, but he's going to be pivotal in this series. The next one, Kayvon Looney. This is one of the pieces the Warriors are going to be rolling out there at center. He's going to be pivotal to limiting the damage the Celtics do in the paint. He could do it, but I think the Celtics have too much inside. And how Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, who else? I can keep rolling it on and on. How they drive to the basket. Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, several other guys that just they take it to the paint, and the Warriors, they're going to have to stop that or limit it. But it's going to come down to Green, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, these guys being able to stop the drives to the basket. But Kayvon Looney, his stats for the 2022 NBA playoffs, he's been pretty good. Uh, what I've seen of him, 6 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, and he's almost shooting 70% from the floor, which is that's pretty dang good. But he's not the main focal point in their offense. That's why he's shooting so high. But you can't take anything away from him. For the viewers that are watching, I greatly appreciate you tuning in today. Leave it down in the comments section what you guys think of the matchup with the Celtics and Warriors. And if you're not a subscriber yet to our channel or my channel, um, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. The next one on the list is Andrew Wiggins. He coming into the league, he was highly touted prospect. He's caught the dunk over Luca last series was the dunk heard around the world. The one of the videos that I've posted on my channel, but that was a nasty dunk. He's really caught fire with the Warriors. That's because he's behind all the great talent the Warriors have, and he's getting the looks and not having the double coverage that Clay will get, or Steph will get, or Jordan Poole will get. Being able to shoot those threes really gets the defense, the eyes to go to those players, and he's taking the benefit of being single covered and maximizing that the play. But his stats for the 2022 NBA playoffs, he's been shooting almost 16 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 48% shooting, and 35% from 3-point range. He's like I mentioned, he's carpe diem, seizing the moment with the Warriors, being able to catch and shoot. That's what I've seen from him. Being able to take it off the dribble and to the basket. Like, he's a good player, and he's probably going to be wide open majority of the time. And with the Celtics, they have the best switch defense in the league. And after January 1st, the Celtics have had the best defense in the league. Like, I've seen like a breakdown of the wins losses since January 1st. The Celtics have been on a tear. They've had maybe 30 something wins to like 12 losses, and this includes the playoffs. It's killer, but it all matters right now. It's 4 games. If the Celtics win 4, they won the chip. If the Warriors win 4, they win the chip. But it all starts now. The playoffs, the finals are coming up this week, and leave it down in the comments section. What do you guys think will happen in the finals? Number 7 on the list. Most important players to watch. Jordan Poole is next. His NBA, the playoffs for 2022, his stat line, 18.4 points per game, 3.2 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game. He's shooting 53% from the floor and 39 from from the 3-point line. This is really his coming out party, and he's a good player. Uh, he's benefiting from being single covered when Steph is on the floor or Clay is on the floor or the floor. Um, he's good. He's in the same mold as both those guys because they can shoot off the dribble. But Poole, he's gonna be pretty pivotal to how this series goes in the finals. Coming off the bench and defense, being able to stop what the Celtics do is on the defensive end. Poole's gonna need to step up on the defensive end. Going against Jayson Tatum and the crew, like I mentioned before, being able to stop the penetration going into the paint is probably the number one priority for the Warriors because they really don't have the size to match up with that. Like Jaylen Brown, 6'9", Jayson Tatum, 6'10", Marcus Smart. They have a pretty big lineup, and they roll out with Robert Williams III at center. They're rolling out Al Horford at the power. Should Butler be conference MVP? No. He put up so many stats. I grant Jimmy Butler all the credit for the Miami Heat, but that was Jayson Tatum. Tatum exposed them. Like they got what can't you say about Jayson Tatum? He is a young talent that's put up all the statistical line shooting, rebounds, assists. He's a youngster, and the sky's the limit for him. And Jaylen Brown also. But it's what you guys think. I should ask you guys, or the one that asked this, should Butler be conference MVP? What's your thoughts? Me, it's Jayson Tatum all day. But for the viewers out there, leave it down in the comments section. How do you think the finals will end up? Who's going to win it all? And I appreciate all your comments. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, if you're not a subscriber yet to Sports Talk 1996 on YouTube, consider subscribing. And blessings from the man above. We're going over the top most important players for the finals. He did outscore Tatum, but not that much. If you look at the average, I don't know what game it was, but it was between the last 3 games. He only scored 6 points. You can't really argue that. No. Like the Heat, with them, they were unhealthy the whole series. And the Celtics were the same. If the Celtics are 100% healthy, they wax them off the floor because they don't have interior presence besides Bam Adebayo. Like, no. If Robert Williams is healthy, you've seen the impact that he had on the Celtics. Like, he will dominate them in the paint. Like I am 100% confident in Jimmy Butler, his talent, but not with the Heat. He needs another star beside him to win a title, and it's not going to be with Miami. Tyler Hero, like how many points did he score last game? 0 points. And more efficient. How many times did Jimmy Butler turn the basketball over? We can look up the stats. Hold up. We're looking it up right now. Jayson Tatum, 2 turnovers, 1 turnover. Yeah, he scored 35, but where is the rest of your pieces there? Besides Jimmy Butler, like all the rest of you guys are inconsistent. Bam, he rarely goes for 25. Like Jimmy has to have the pieces around him to win a title. Like they don't have it there in Miami. He'll with him, I think he'll be on the move during the off season. Like his uh his time in the NBA is closing, and it's just like LeBron James. His time's closing, and he's trying to link up with other superstars to win a title. It's like what they did in Brooklyn with Kyrie, Durant, James Harden. Like they have to have the pieces around them to win, because that's how the league is now. Like build a super team, and the person to blame for that is LeBron James. Like when he went down to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. But I appreciate all the comments and all the likes and all the subs out there. You guys make it happen, and I appreciate you. We're going to get back to the list. Number 6 on the list is Marcus Smart, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, the winner of the award from this year. Best defensive player, arguably. Uh, he's been playing lights out for the Celtics. This run to the title, his value that he brings to the squad is he's been several injuries to his, I think his right leg, his knee, his ankle. You can't argue his accountability to the Boston Celtics. Put money on Scott Foster. I don't even know what you're meaning by that, but okay. Thanks for the comment. But with Marcus Smart, he'll get down on the floor and get the basketball. He's determined to go inside in the paint with the towers and go and score the basket. Like he's like, oh, I see what you mean. And hey, The Heat, you watch the games, they caught calls too. Like you can't say that's just one sided. Like that's a cop out excuse. Like it really is. Like what else you got? The Celtics won all 12 games. Like they beat guys on the defensive end. Hey, you're gonna say that the Celtics ran into that with the Nets? Like they limited that defense limited Kyrie Irving and Durant. Like you can't really say that. Like their defense won those games. Yeah, if you look at the stat line, you go on that after January 1st, they were the best defensive team in the league. Like behind them getting, I think everything changed for the Celtics when they brought Al Horford back and they traded for Derek White. Those solidified it. Those trades solidified that Boston Celtics team, getting away from that contract with Kemba Walker and those picks that didn't pan out. Really were good trades for them, and it led them to being in the NBA Finals. You're gonna say that everyone from the outside looking in wanted the the Jays to be separated, but they proved all the doubters wrong about them. They meshed when it counted, and rightfully so. It's Marcus Smart, the guy we've been mentioning, that talked to him, that had a team meeting, and got their act right. You got to hand it to him. But the stat line for Marcus Smart, the reigning defensive player of the year, the 2022 NBA playoffs, his stat line 15 points a game, 4 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, and 40% shooting. Like, you can't argue with that. He's not even the focal point of their offense. And he's been producing when it counts, much needed threes, like assists. I remember the Brooklyn series, that pass at the end to Jayson Tatum, the spin around Kyrie Irving for the basket at the buzzer. Like, that's from Marcus Smart. Faking it out for 3 dribble pass. That was Smart all day. His knowledge of the game, him seeing the whole court, is really took the Celtics to this point. Him being the full-time starter at point. Like, but it's what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments section below. I appreciate all the comments. Number 5 on the list. It's the guy that's been hurt the last 2 seasons. It's Klay Thompkins. It's great to see him back, fully healthy for the Warriors. The league with the Splash Brothers being on the court together again, it's great to see it. They handled adversity and to get to the finals again, and all respect to them. But Klay, his stat line for this year's playoffs, 19.8 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, 2.4 assists per game. He's shooting 46%, 40% from three. What do you have to say about Clay? Like, he's done it all in the league. He's won titles, several key shots and key moments for the Warriors' run for all those years of going to the title game and winning it. And he's pivotal for them. If he's not there, I really don't believe they'd be at this point. But it's what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments section. If Clay wasn't there for the Warriors, would they be in the finals right now? My take, I don't think they would be. Like they're without James Wiseman, their center they picked in the first round from Memphis. Where's he at? Like, is he ever going to hit the floor again? Like, I think they trade him, to be honest. Like, he's not really panned out for him. Number 4 on the list, Draymond Green from Michigan State. Draymond, rightfully so, is one on this list. His screen game for Curry on down screens and whatnot, like, he's pivotal for that offense for the Warriors. Like, his value to that team, you probably can't put a value on it. Like, what he's done for the Warriors, all the years they went to the finals, like, he's been a big piece and a leader in that locker room, a leader on that team. He really fired up the Heat when he was at the podium. That was pretty funny. Oh, we're going to play the Celtics. It's not wrong, but that lit a fire under the Heat. His stat line for this year's playoffs, 8.7 points per game, 9.9 rebounds per game, assists, 6.3 assists per game, 54% shooting. Like, he's pivotal. But I think the Celtics exploit him in the paint, to be honest. Like I mentioned prior, the Warriors, they don't have the size to compete with the Celtics. They're going to be playing small ball all game long against them. The whole series. Like, if they had James Wiseman, it'd be a different story. But they don't. I think he's still injured, to be honest. The next one on the list, number 3, Jaylen Brown from Cal Berkeley. But for the Celtics, this run, like I mentioned with Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown is on this list as well. These guys have been so important for the Boston rise to the Eastern Conference, the pinnacle of the best in that conference. Like, his growth as a player, him, Jayson Tatum, like how Danny Ainge built that team is what other teams wish they did. Like, several first round picks. And it all started with that Brooklyn trade. They got several key picks in return for that massive overload of players with Pierce, um, Garnett, Terry, I believe, was in that trade too. Jason Terry, um, several other guys, but they got an overload of picks in return, and they built from there. And he's Danny Ainge, is who I'm mentioning, deserves the executive of the best exec of the whole entire league, best GM. Like what he's built with that team. But Brad Stevens is in that role now. And like I mentioned before, that trade, getting rid of that contract with Kemba Walker, always injured, and getting back Al Horford was pretty key in the turnaround with the Celtics. But Jaylen, his stat line for the playoffs this year, 22.9 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists per game. He's shooting 48% from the floor and 39% from 3-point range. Like him and Jayson Tatum probably have the same impact on the Celtics, being able to stretch the floor and play defense. Like I've said this before to people that I've talked to about the Celtics. Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they have points where they're pretty sporadic with the basketball and they turn the ball over. And they've been able to limit that through this playoff run. And that's what has brought them to this point in the finals or in the playoffs. That as a whole, like being able to limit those things and being able to learn from them from previous seasons, what not to do and what to do. I think personally they're on the come up as a whole franchise, and we'll have to see how it goes. I'll have to see how the finals turn out. But Jaylen's has the impact. He's going to leave his impact on this finals, and that's probably a guarantee. Number 2, Stephen Curry. I don't know if you guys keep up with basketball, but he's been coming into the playoffs with an injury. But he's a splash brother. Like you got to guard him. Like probably when he gets off the bus, like he's going to shoot it. And he deserves all the credit. His shot is pretty much automatic. But the playoffs, the run for Stephen Curry, his stat line 25.9 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, 6.2 assists per game, 45% from the floor, and 38% from 3-point range. Leave it down in the comments section if you guys think Stephen Curry has the best shot of all time. I personally believe he does, but like he's dribbling through defenders, putting up shots from half court. Who stops that? You can't. Like if the Celtics don't limit that somehow, it's gonna be a long series for the Celtics. Number 1 on the list. I mentioned this guy's name quite a bit. It's Jayson Tatum from Duke University. He's been very pivotal to the Boston Celtics, the franchise, this playoff run. Um, his value for the Celtics is second to none. He's probably 1A, 1B type of deal for the Celtics with him and Jaylen Brown. Like, like he's had several moments in this 2022 NBA, the playoffs, had his moments where he shined, where he kind of fell off a little bit, but his value to the Celtics is key for them winning the title this year and really giving the franchise another chip, another championship, uh, taking back the lead with the Lakers with most titles. But his stat line is 27.1 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, 5.9 assists per game. He's shooting 45% from the floor and 37% from three. Um, Jayson Tatum is arguably the next Kobe, and you can't deny it. Like when he is hot and when he's got his shot going, he is the guy. He's the guy to get the ball in his hand. Like people forget his age. He's only 24 years old and he's got a lot of time to grow, and he's the youngest player to ever put up a stat line like I think it's like 500 points in a postseason. Like he's arguably the best young talent in the league right now, and you can you can argue that all day long, but he definitely is. He's shown up on the defensive end several times this season in the playoffs, in the regular season. Like that's where I think he's grown the most. Um, in on the defensive end. Like his leadership there is second to none. But it's what you guys think. But if you're not a subscriber yet to Sports Talk 1996 on YouTube, consider subscribing. Uh, we interview professional athletes and give you guys current sports topics and little short videos as well. And I appreciate all the viewers out there subscribing, liking the content, uh, commenting. I like the comments. I like hearing what you guys think, and I will do my best to answer every single comment you guys have. But I'm about to jump off here. But I appreciate all you guys, and we'll see you back next time. Uh, Take care and peace out.